Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Emmerdale spoilers next week, shock Dingle news and new Gus bombshell. Emmerdale is lining up explosive scenes next week with a series of bombshells set to rock the village's residents with the Dingles and Rona impacted. Emmerdale's residents will be left shocked next week as a series of bombshells will rock the village. In upcoming scenes, Rona will be left with a difficult decision next week amid a new bombshell from Gus. Elsewhere, Belle Dingle will be left distraught as Tom King causes more reason for concern. Also in the village, the beloved Dingle family will receive more shock news amid Chaz's cancer battle. Here's the biggest moments ahead on Emmerdale next week. Rona will be left with a difficult decision next week amid a new bombshell from Gus on Emmerdale. The fan-favorite character found herself arrested last week when she was tracked down to a remote cottage, where she had been keeping Ivy with her before deciding to flee. Ivy was born when Gus and his wife Lucy stole Rona's embryos. Technically, Rona hasn't got any parental rights over baby Ivy, despite being biologically her daughter, which has caused much debate amongst fans of the ITV soap. Next week, the court case looms and it is clear it's having a big effect on Rona and Marlon. Rona decides she needs to plead not guilty in court as she refuses to brand herself a criminal. April is clearly full of worry about what will happen to Rona, and things get worse when April says she's not going to school and gets on a different bus. April ends up at Gus' house where she pleads with him to tell the police that Rona is innocent. However, as she makes her case to him, she lets slip that Rona is planning to plead not guilty and Gus is fuming. He brings April back to the village, and when Rona makes a move towards Ivy, him and Marlon are locked in a scuffle and Gus ends up falling to the floor injured. Gus rejects Marlon's apology and in upset April runs off. However, Rona is left stunned when Gus offers a compromise and suggests they both change their statements and work towards a not guilty verdict. He seems to suggest Rona can have access to Ivy and he will cancel the house sale, but will Rona agree? Belle Dingle will be left distraught next week as Tom King causes more reason for concern on Emmerdale. Tom and Belle tied the knot last week, but fans have long suspected his behavior hasn't been right. Their wedding went off with quite a few problems, with the Dingles causing trouble when Ruby outed Tracy and Caleb's affair at the reception, leading to a huge fight. Things didn't get any better for the couple when they headed home, only for Tom to scold Belle for wanting to read her late mum's letter to her, and he stormed off upstairs and told her to sleep on the sofa on their wedding night. The next day, he came downstairs, and when Mandy arrived, he played happy families, insisting all was okay before they had a long chat, and he apologized for his behavior, but fans were not convinced he was really sorry. Next week on the ITV soap, Tom will give Belle the silent treatment when she gets a job opportunity from Susie. Tom reminds Belle that she had promised to speak to Angelica about the secure children's home after she spent some time there. She's not sure, but he makes her feel guilty for saying no, so she goes along with it and things turn serious when Belle and Angel sit down and she explains what the home is like. Angel's fears grow as Belle lays bare what it's like in the home, and she worries she'll experience similar mental health difficulties that Belle did during her time in the home. Jimmy comes downstairs to find them both upset, and he comforts Angel but reprimands Belle, leaving her distraught as she flees. Belle feels even more regretful when Tom makes her believe it was her idea to speak to Angelica. As he promises to protect her in the future, Belle is grateful, but is there heartache in store for her? Emmerdale is set for more heartbreak next week when the beloved Dingle family receive more shock news. Soap fans will recall that Chaz Dingle was recently diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, with the ITV soap working with Breast Cancer Now for the emotional storyline. Chaz's diagnosis comes after her mother, Faith Dingle, tragically died in 2022 following her own breast cancer battle. In upcoming scenes next week, Chaz reveals to her family that the cause of her cancer is the faulty BRCA2 gene. The bombshell leaves Chaz's brothers Cain and Caleb, as well as son Aaron, stunned as they learn there's a high likelihood they could have it and that it could have been passed on to their children. Wanting to protect her family, Chaz pushes son Aaron to make an appointment for his gene test referral. However, the troubled character is evasive and is left uneasy over being pushed to get tested. Meanwhile, Ruby Fox Milligan overhears the Dingles talking about the faulty BRCA2 gene in the Woolpack and demands estranged husband Caleb tell her what's going on. Things go from bad to worse when a row erupts between Ruby and Caleb, which leaves Chaz very uncomfortable, and as the argument escalates, a reluctant Kane is forced to intervene. Realizing things are getting out of hand, Caleb attempts to move the argument outside, but Ruby is steadfast. In true soap style, the explosive row finally ends with a knee to the groin for Kane and the Dingles left in shock. Elsewhere, in the back room of the pub, Chaz is supported by her female friends and family as they talk about her cancer diagnosis, where they share their relief over the lump being found early as it gives her the best chance.